Once there was a vampire named Victor, young and handsome, yet cruel beyond measure. He lived in a grand mansion on the outskirts of a quiet town, where fear followed him wherever he went. The townspeople whispered of his terrible ways, for he fed on blood and reveled in the terror he caused. No one dared to challenge him, not even the bravest souls. His mansion stood as a monument to his power, and his reputation was a dark cloud hanging over the town. Victor's staff consisted of frightened souls who worked under his tyrannical rule. Among them was a young woman named Ilara, a kind-hearted maid with a gentle spirit. She had seen what others couldn't, a flicker of loneliness in Victor's cold eyes. Though she was terrified of him, she couldn't bring herself to hate him. Instead, she pitied him. One fateful evening, Victor returned to his mansion, bloodied and bruised, accompanied by a group of vicious vampires. They had been in a brutal skirmish with a rival vampire clan, and Victor had been gravely injured. His usual arrogance was gone, replaced by vulnerability. He collapsed into his grand chamber, his body battered, his eyes full of pain. The other vampires had abandoned him, leaving him alone in his hour of need. Ilara, seeing the condition of her master, hesitated for a moment. Her heart urged her to help, despite the terror he had instilled in her. She rushed to his side, her compassion overriding her fear. She offered him her own blood, knowing that only it could save him. Though she had never dared to offer such a gift before, she saw something in him, something different from the monster he appeared to be. The transformation. As Victor drank from her, something within him shifted. The blood of a human, pure and kind, coursed through his veins, bringing with it not just healing but a sense of clarity. For the first time in centuries, he felt what it was like to care, to be seen not as a predator, but as a person. The cruelty that had once defined him began to fade away. Ilara's selflessness made Victor question everything he had known about humanity. The monsters he had always believed humans to be were not monsters at all. She was the proof, someone who had every reason to hate him, yet chose to offer him her blood, her life instead. Her kindness shattered the walls of darkness he had built around his heart. As days passed, Victor began to change. He stopped scaring his servants and stopped feeding on innocent people. His arrogance faded, and he began to understand the importance of compassion. The mansion, once a place of fear and dread, began to feel like a home, one filled with warmth, not darkness. Victor started to spend more time with Ilara, not as a master to a servant, but as a person to another person. He watched her work, noticed the way she treated others with kindness, and began to admire her inner strength. Slowly, he realized that she was not just a maid to him, she was the one who had saved him, not just physically, but emotionally. The redemption. Over time, Victor's transformation became complete. He no longer ruled with an iron fist. Instead, he used his power to protect the town and ensure its safety. He stood up to the other vampires, who saw his actions as a betrayal of their kind, but Victor no longer cared for their approval. What mattered now was the love he had found in Ilara, a love that had redeemed him. Though he had once been a creature of darkness, Victor had become a man capable of love, of compassion, of understanding. He no longer saw humans as prey, but as equals. And through Ilara's kindness, he had found his true self, the person he had always been deep down, hidden beneath the mask of cruelty. Victor and Ilara's love story became legend in the town. They were no longer seen as the cruel vampire and the humble maid, but as two souls who had found each other despite the odds. Together, they built a life filled with compassion and understanding, a life that showed that even the darkest hearts could find redemption through love. And so, Victor, the once feared vampire, became a protector of the town, and Alara, his beloved, stood by his side, proving that kindness could change even the most monstrous of hearts.